So the first season of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier finally wrapped up. Let's get right into it. If you're new to my channel, or if you're somebody who is subscribed but haven't seen any of my Falcon and Winter Soldier reviews yet, well, you're in for a treat and have not missed anything, because here I'm going to talk about the entirety of Season 1. I feel the only way I can discuss the Season 1 finale is by talking about the entirety of the show so far. Of course, though, if you are interested to hear my in-depth thoughts about episodes 1 through 5, feel free to check out all of my reviews so far. They're here on my channel. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, in comparison to WandaVision, I do feel is an improvement in terms of the MCU TV shows, because this show constantly kept me entertained. Even through some of the weaker episodes, I still found enjoyment. On the other hand, WandaVision was this mystery that you had to unravel, and by the time it was over, it fell flat, whereas The Falcon and the Winter Soldier at least had some really entertaining action sequences in each and every single one of its episodes. That's absolutely where The Falcon and the Winter Soldier beats out WandaVision. WandaVision didn't have an action sequence until the final episode, but in this show, in every single episode, we got at least one action sequence, and there was not a single action sequence in the show that disappointed me. But The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is not just about its great action sequences, it's also about its phenomenal character development. This comes for three characters: Sam, Bucky, and John Walker. For Sam, he is left to take up the mantle of Captain America. Steve gave him the shield. He is meant to be Captain America, and at first, Sam is hesitant, but as the show progresses, we see that Sam really does want to be the next Captain America. He is absolutely meant to be that guy. Bucky, on the other hand, has to come to terms with all the terrible things he did as the Winter Soldier. As the Winter Soldier, Bucky killed a ton of innocent people, and he feels awful about this. So in the show, we see how this has affected his character from the day he became the Winter Soldier up until now, and it still has not left him. And then John Walker, a guy who everyone says is a good soldier but not a good man. And after Sam gives up the shield, he is given the chance to become the next Captain America, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't live up to his own expectations, and soon realizes that it takes a lot more than being a good soldier to be Captain America. And Walker leads the way for the show's great new characters introduced to the MCU. Not only was it John Walker, but we got Lamar Hoskins, Joaquin Torres, and Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, a character who I'm really interested to see what they do with her next. Also, Zemo returns in this show, a character that I love. I didn't realize how much I would love Zemo until he was put back into the MCU in this TV series. I wasn't the biggest fan of him in Captain America Civil War, but him here in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he showed a ton more charisma and became one of the show's most popular characters. He might be the most popular character in the MCU at the moment. But honestly, the best way for me to get through my thoughts of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is to do another quick recap of the 6 episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As you guys know, I already talked about episodes 1 through 5, and I'll throw in episode 6 at the very end of these first 5. For the longest time, episode 1 was my favorite. It's really entertaining and offered some excellent action sequences, and they gave us some heart-melting character moments. This was a good way of reintroducing both Sam and Bucky into the MCU. Episode 2, I found, was a step down from episode 1. A lot of people will disagree with that. The highlight in this episode was the truck fight. The rest of the episode, though, is somewhat forgettable. To me, it's mostly about John Walker being introduced here. However, episode 3 gets us back on track. It feels a lot like a John Wick movie between the action and cinematography. This is where Zemo reappears. He does his funny dance. He was absolutely fantastic in this show, and while episode 3 is a bit convoluted, it's really fun and fast-paced. But episode 4 is hands down the best episode in this season. It's loaded with action, includes the heartbreaking death of Lamar, and this is where we slowly see the dark turn of John Walker from start to finish. Now, episode 5 does have a great opening where we see John Walker fight against Sam and Bucky, but the rest of the episode, as I said in my review, is just a bunch of walking and talking. The only real highlights here are Sam's training montage with Cap's shield and Valentina Allegra de Fontaine's debut, but a lot of episode 5 is just to set up the finale. Okay, so then what are my thoughts on the season 1 finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 6? Let's get right to that. This was a decent finale. It's certainly better than WandaVision's finale. First off, let me talk about my positives. I love John Walker's turn from bad to good. I knew that he's someone that means well and only wanted the best for the country. But the pressure of Captain America and that super soldier serum did him no favors. It's good to see him turn good at the end though. Sam as Captain America in episode 6 was pretty dope. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go next with his character. I love that Bucky gets some closure in the season 1 finale and he reunites with Yuri, who we have not seen since episode 1. Though let me add real quickly that scene felt incredibly rushed and was poorly directed, but I am happy it was included. Also, Isaiah Bradley's memorial was a heartfelt touch and we finally see a different side of him. So those are absolutely the best things I have to say about episode 6 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I do have some complaints, and this is where I can connect some of the complaints I had in the first 5 episodes to the complaints I had in episode 6. It's no surprise here that the things I always thought were going to happen ended up happening, so yes, in a way, this was a predictable finale. This mostly surrounds Carly Morgenthal's character, the Power Broker, and Sam as Captain America. Throughout the first 5 episodes, I talked about how Carly Morgenthau is not going to stay bad, and while I wasn't totally right, she did go out in a way that wouldn't make you think that she's a full-on bad guy. The way her death is handled treats her like a good person. I guess deep down she was, but we knew the entire time that something like this would happen, and actually, before this episode came out, I thought to myself, I would not be surprised if they killed Carly Morgenthau at the end of this show, but kind of made you think of her in a different way, that she's not really a bad person. She's actually a good person, but did some bad things that she didn't really mean to. It was revealed too in this episode that Sharon this entire time has been the Power Broker. Was this a surprise? No. In episode 5, she had a conversation with Georges St. Pierre's character, so we all kind of knew that she was going to be the Power Broker. It's not a shock whatsoever, and that really disappointed me. And Sam eventually becoming Captain America, we all knew was going to happen. At the start of the show, they made you want to think that he wasn't going to be Captain America, it was going to be John Walker, but everyone knew that Sam was eventually going to be Captain America, whether it was going to be at the end of the show or sometime later. So yeah, kind of like WandaVision, this show did have some predictable moments, and on top of that, its main villain, the Flag Smashers, going back to them, led by Carly Morgenthau, were extremely underdeveloped. These were some pretty poorly written villains, and villains that I did not care about whatsoever. They wanted you to care about Carly's death at the end of the show, but did I care? No, I did not. And to wrap up talking about episode 6, this episode as a whole was just fine. Like I said, it was decent. A majority of this episode was all action. That's really all we saw. And after the action sequences, John Walker's good turn, Sam's heroic speech, and Bucky coming to terms with his past, the show ends on a very happy note where Sam and Bucky are celebrating with Sarah and all those people, which in a way leaves me to believe that we're not going to get a season 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We might only get 1 season. It wrapped it up pretty nicely for all of the characters. I don't really see how they could do anything else with these characters in a second season, at least with them together. Alright, so final thoughts on season 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This was a solid first season. If we were to be given more episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and more seasons, I would not be complaining. This show entertained me constantly. We also got some great action sequences, a lot of really solid character moments, and a few shocking moments. But again, my biggest negatives with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier are its predictability and its villains. And with all that said, I am giving the first season of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier a B. Alright, for those of you who also happen to see episodes 1 through 6 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, be sure to let me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the MCU's content that's coming out later this year. Next up, we have Loki, so maybe I'll review all the episodes of that TV show too. Of course though, guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.